Hey listeners, the Health and Wealth Expo, a virtual summit, is back. This is your chance to learn, grow, and build your future from anywhere. Visit healthandwealthexpos.com today to secure your spot.
The protests that are going on right now. So I was saying to myself recently, why is no one talking about the protests that are taking place around the world? And then I logged in the other day and I was scrolling on my phone, and I noticed that they are protesting. People are protesting, actually protesting in this country as well. But I'm just wondering why it's not getting a lot of media attention. I'm praying for our federal government workers right now. And I say that because every time you turn around, it's like you get whiplash from everything that's happening. It's like before you know it, before you can find out about one piece of news, you're finding out about another piece of news. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was the U.S. aid being taken away.
Welcome to Nurses with Voices. I'm Dr. Lendra, your host and fellow nurse who's traded in burnout for breakthroughs. I'm here to show you how to transform your nursing career into one filled with purpose, reduced stress, and incredible opportunities. Whether you're looking to start your own business, build generational wealth, or simply find a healthier role in nursing, this podcast is for you. Join me to explore practical strategies to overcome burnout, combat bias, and chart new paths in nursing. It's time to reclaim your voice and reimagine your future in healthcare. Let's get started.
I'm Dr. Lendra, and it is Black History Month. And with it being Black History Month, I know in my newsletters I've talked about MLK and it being Black History Month, and I posted some things on LinkedIn. But I want to make sure that I mention Mary Eliza Mahoney. She was the first African American to work as a female nurse in the United States. And I think it's important to mention that. And I just want to pay homage to Mary Eliza Mahoney, as with it being Black History Month, before we get into what's happening in the country and the government. So I'm just going to give you guys a few little hot topics before we really get into the meat and potatoes of today. The protests that are going on right now. So I was saying to myself recently, why is no one talking about the protests that are taking place around the world? And then I logged in the other day and I was scrolling on my phone, and I noticed that they are protesting. People are protesting, actually protesting in this country as well. But I'm just wondering why it's not getting a lot of media attention. So let me look. There's a protest taking place. Hundreds march in Asheville's second protest against President Trump's immigration policy. So that's in Asheville. You have Denver, Colorado. They're protesting against Trump. Protesters denounced Trump's immigration policies outside of Florida Golf Club. You have Denver, Colorado join 50 states to protest against Trump. So these are protests that are taking place. We're here to fight back. U.S. Democrats call for more aggressive tactics against Trump and Musk. So these are protests that are going on, but they're also protesting outside of the country. And I feel like no one's really talking about that, but maybe they are, right? And why do you think people are protesting? People are protesting because if you look at what's going on right now in the government, I'm praying for our federal government workers right now. And I say that because every time you turn around, it's like you get whiplash from everything that's happening. It's like before you know it, before you can find out about one piece of news, you're finding out about another piece of news. And let me backtrack to what I wanted to talk about today. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was the U.S. aid being taken away. USAID is responsible for food and other other resources provided across other countries. And it was also one of the organizations that was responsible for the takedown of apartheid. And why is this important? If you know anything about the president that we didn't elect, Mr. Musk, then you know that he is from South Africa and he believes in apartheid. So it really hints to there being impropriety as to why the U.S. is now releasing the relationship with the USAID. The USAID is responsible for administering foreign aid and economic programs. Now, the USAID is the United States Agency for International Development, in case you didn't know. So one has no other choice. Well, for me, I can't say you have no other choice, but there's reason to believe that there is definitely some scandal going on behind this entire election when you have someone who is not elected, who now has their hands on the United Treasury, the funds of the United States, and they're making decisions and they're slashing programs. There's a strategy going on here. And listen, I'm not trying to make anyone afraid, because I think the Trump administration is doing a good enough job with that, with trying to instill fear. I just want people to keep their eyes open and really see what's going on and look past the distractions of what's happening, because that's exactly what this is. This is a distraction to instill fear into the United States people. And we have to understand and recognize that it's business as usual, because whatever they've done, it's all going to come out to light. Letitia James has already filed a civil lawsuit against Trump and Elon Musk, and good for her. I mean, how many of you would say that Elon Musk used all of his technology, with all of his technology and everything that he can do? Why wouldn't he be able to purchase an election? I mean, listen, it's something that really think about. It's something to consider. I mean, just really think about it. Was this election bought? Did Elon Musk use all of his skills and technology to take control of an entire election? It's something to think about. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna just leave that there. I'm gonna move on, but I wanted to give you guys some updates with what's going on. I know you're listening to it on the news, but I do want to say, be careful with what you're listening to on social media. Be careful where you're getting your news. Be careful where where you're putting your energy, because again, all of these things are distractions. It's distractions from keeping you focused. And to my nurse friends and to my nurses, I do want to say this. So in recent news, Mass General Brigham is going to do a massive layoff. They have something like a $250 million pay cut, or a $250 million deficit, and they have to basically cut a lot of positions and roles. So what does that mean for nurses? What does that mean for healthcare professionals? Well, a lot of times when they do cuts, what happens is they'll do hiring freezes, or they start to cut from, they start from the top, right? So CEOs might get let go, right? The people who are making the most money, but maybe they don't necessarily need that role, or maybe there's a new role that the hospital is going to start, but then now there's a freeze on that role. Or you may have just gotten hired for a role, but they may not hire you. They may decide not to bring you on board. Nurses at the bedside are normally the last to go, but you don't, with the economic climate right now, you just never know who's really going to get cut. And again, it's not to instill fear. I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm bringing this up and what I do want you to think about. I want you to start considering, how can you position yourself? My word of this month is position. You want to position yourself so that you do not have to rely on a W-2. You want to position yourself and let the system work for you. And what do I mean by that? Your skills are so transferable. And I know I've said this time and time again, and I just want to remind nurses that you are valuable. You have an expertise. You have a skill that no one can take away from you, because you've been trained. You've already gone through, you got your certifications, you got your license. Now, you got the clinical training that you needed on the job training. You have everything that you need to be able to position yourself to use your skills to be able to be that provider to your community. You can be that thought leader. You could be that expert. And I'm sure if you currently work in a hospital, I'm sure you see things that need to be fixed, right? You can take that and turn that into a venture for yourself. You can take that and turn into a side business. And I'm going to use legal nurse consulting as an example of that. What do we do as nurses? From the time we start nursing school, we learn medical terminology. So we learn medical terminology and we take that medical terminology that we learn and we take it into our nursing practice. So now we're practicing it every day and we're using words that a lot of people don't even understand, not even attorneys, because guess what? They hire people to figure those medical terms out for them, or they Google them, right? Or they have a paralegal or someone in the office taking care of these things. What if you can take that skill and that knowledge and turn it into a business? Just from being able to read medical records, we're the creators of medical records, right? So between doctors and nurses and the other consults that on the other disciplines that offer their expertise into the medical record, we know how to read and comb through a medical record and find things. And that's what we do. Now you do that from bedside to nursing leadership, because remember, nursing leaders, they have to review those charts. They have to do the chart reviews, right? So they're the ones giving you the notes when, you missed a pain assessment or you didn't document a neuro check, right? So I say that to say, we can take our skills and turn them into a profitable business. Imagine sending an invoice for a $1,500 retainer just to get started on a case, but to help an attorney interpret the medical record. Just imagine what you can do. Just imagine how profitable that business can be. Imagine charging $350 from the time you leave your house to going to testify in court as an expert. Just imagine what you can do. So this is what I mean. You can take your skills and expertise and turn it into a profitable business. Then you have IV hydration. How many of you are an expert in starting IVs? How many of you are the person who the people on the nursing unit come to when they need an IV? How about taking that skill and turning it into an IV hydration business, right? Now, all of these things can be side businesses so that you have some type of income if and when, well, I shouldn't say when, if it comes down to you needing or not having the W-2 for your business, to be able to take care of your family. I want you to start considering this. Why is this important? This is important for nurses to position themselves. Imagine having those funds that you need to start your business. Imagine knowing how to access other people's money. Imagine that. No one teaches us that in healthcare. No one teaches us these things. Imagine being a nurse practitioner who specializes in mental health and being able to have your own primary mental health nursing practice as a nurse practitioner. Imagine being able to run your practice and be able to bring in $10,000 a month, $50,000 a month. Just imagine. So these are the type of things that no one really teaches us. And to be able to really get ahead in healthcare and to be able to really take advantage of your skills and your expertise, no one needs to tell you that you're an expert. You need to know that you're an expert. No one needs to tell you that you're a thought leader. You need to know that you're a thought leader. You're a thought leader because you have an expertise that no one can take away from you. You have a skill and a knowledge, and you've been trained with a skill that no one can take away from you. You can start a business with it, or guess what? How many nurses go out and get these per diem jobs, right? We work 2 and 3 jobs because, it's just things that come like second nature to us, and we know how to take care of patients and we know how to take care of people. Well, how about start a concierge business doing the same thing on your own? And guess what? You're your own boss. You don't have to be tied to someone telling you when you can go to work or what holidays you have to work. But you know what? Don't listen to me. I want you to listen to a couple of the experts who are going to be speaking at the Health and Wealth Expo or Virtual Summit. Listen to their insights. Listen to what they're going to teach you and what they're going to share with you at the Health and Wealth Expo or Virtual Summit.
It's important for us to collaborate over competition, right? Collaborate, help each other to grow and to build wealth. And I think it truly ties back into what's going on today with all these executive orders in the transition. What next? So that is what we're going to be hitting home on for this conference, is talking about how the medical community can build, right? Can get access to these government contracts, what opportunities are out there. Because guess what? No matter what's going on in the world, one thing that doesn't stop: medical care, nursing, wellness, health, right? Those are some key attributes and things that the medical community can offer to the government. Suicide awareness, right? We don't want to talk about that, but guess what? Many people are going to need those skill sets, those distinct skill sets that only you have.
And one thing we do as nurses and healthcare professionals is that we are used to trading time for money. I think that's the biggest mindset shift that you get. So with the financial literacy, right now we're thinking, oh, like me, if I need extra, I'll go work a shift. That has to change when you get into your business. So those are some of the things we'll be talking about: how to fund your own business, or how to fund your business using what we call OPM, other people's money, because there is a way to do that. And that is why it's so important to get around these circles and groups of people who have done this. We've all made the mistakes so that you don't have to. And that's the most important thing, and why coaching is so important. And these little nuggets that you pick up, from everyone is truly going to be a blessing. So
why do you think people who may be on the fence about attending the Health and Wealth Expo, why do you think they should come?
People think that they have to, as Dr. Jones says, my partner, burn all the boats. Like, you don't have to quit your job to start something on the side. Once you see, I just made $250 on an IV drip that I did for 30 minutes. Like, that changes something in you, right? And then that's and it goes from there. But you can start these businesses on the side. You don't have to go full throttle. But again, you have to get yourself financially in a situation where you can do that.
The thing with the expos that you're going to be seeing is that right now, whether you've been a nurse for several months, that doesn't mean that you can't leverage the knowledge that you already have to start a business, to do something that you're truly passionate about. For me, that was you alluded to, was legal nurse consulting. Because I did spend time at a board of nursing, I had to learn the investigative process. Then I crossed over to be a civil expert. I then became a consultant.
Like, a lot of people ask me too. I have a friend in financial services. She says, Dr. Linda, is it just for nurses? I'm like, no, it's for everyone. Like, anyone, you can come in and you will get something from this presentation. Right? I'm going to talk about how did I manage. What are the secret strategies that I've used to open and thrive in my mental health clinic? I opened it 2 years ago. Started a few steps at the time. Ask, knock doors, ask again, and asked again. And finally, I was able to find a secret formula that I'm going to share with you that allowed me to go from 0 patients, $0 to $50K a month in 2 years. So I would share that with you, and I will also reveal to you the mistakes, right? In everything, in any ventures that you do, you have mistakes. The 5 biggest mistakes that I've gone through, not all of them, but what can you do to prevent those mistakes, to thrive, to quantum leap into your goals of private practice?
Now, I share all of this with you to say, I want you to join me at the Health and Wealth Expo, a virtual summit on February 22nd. It's from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. These ladies are going to be pouring into you. You're going to learn from industry experts about how to start an IV hydration business, how to start a legal nurse consulting business, government contracting, a primary mental health nursing practice as a nurse practitioner. You're going to learn financial literacy. And don't forget the bonus session, which is what we call the All Access Pass, which is going to provide you access to the replays. It's going to provide you with your health and wealth playbook. And you're going to get access to that bonus session where you're going to learn how to fund your business. With everything going on, don't live in fear. Position yourself in a way where you can use your skills and your expertise, and you don't have to live in fear. Because remember, we are a very educated society. And if you look at the statistics, we are very educated. We are a very educated society. So you know how to do this and you know what you're doing. Sometimes we just need a little encouragement. And sometimes certain things we didn't even think about certain things until they come to our attention. Well, I'm bringing this to your attention and I want you guys to do something about it. So until next time, make sure that you stay inspired, stay educated, and stay empowered.